Great day, great day. Hi, everyone. It is your girl, Raquel May David, and I have David Sanchez with me. Hold on, let me make sure my lighting starts acting right. I'm sorry, guys. Everything was in focus, and then all of a sudden it unfocused me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Of course, this is your Dispute Panda night. I am so excited to be here. I am going to, let me start sharing my screen. Stop one. All righty. We're going to give a little bit of time for some more people to get into the room. So I'm super duper excited. Let's see, let's see. Hey, Cleveland Coleman, welcome, welcome to the room. I'm just giving everybody a little bit of time to get in. Right now is Q&A session, so if you have any questions, comments, concerns on the Dispute Panda Pro platform, please let me know. It's an open room. If you've already sent out a first round of disputes and you already have the platform, let me know. You can come off of mute or, oh, Steve is here. You can come off of mute if you have any questions and just let me know. But we're going to give everyone about 5 to 10 minutes to kind of get in the room. Hey, Stevie.
Hey, how are you?
I am wonderful, darling. I am wonderful. How are you doing today?
Doing okay. Doing okay.
Awesome. How are you? Is it Mr. Coleman? I see that your mic is on. Did you have any questions or concerns for me today?
I had a question.
Yes. What question do you have today?
Yes, does it make sense to dispute a hard inquiry for a credit limit increase that wasn't granted?
I would never, personally, I never dispute an inquiry that's attached to an open and active credit line. So if the credit card is open, I will not dispute the inquiry attached.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Because you
And
run the risk of them closing the line. Even though they didn't give you the inquiry, I just would say to be safer than sorry not to do it. But great question.
makes sense. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions you guys have? This is really an open forum for you guys. So if you have questions on the system, how to utilize stuff, we are here to support and answer those questions for you.
Yeah,
Um,
just a quick one, Raquel. Do you have do you think they're gonna update some new features in here soon?
Oh, they're always working on stuff. I know that there's supposed to be a launch coming up in the next couple of weeks. We were told about it on the back end. We're just waiting for the launch date so that we can let you guys know like ahead of time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I don't know what the feature is. You know, I like to tell y'all the good stuff. I don't know what the feature is, but I'm super duper looking forward to whatever they're about to launch out. Mr. Coleman, I do not hear you at all. I know your mic is open from what it looks, but I don't know if your audio is connected. So you might want to check your audio to make sure it's connected. If you like, you can definitely write your question in the chat and I'll be happy to read it, honey, and I'll answer it if I know and if I don't know the answer, I got the people to to make sure we can get the answer for you. Listen, I got plugs out in these streets now.
I had another question.
Mhm.
So this is my first time using Attack Panda, and
Okay.
I'm looking at the recommended attack flow for the most effective credit repair. It says like handwritten and CFPB.
Mhm.
Where do you choose that option when you're doing the Supreme Boosted?
Oh, no problem. I'm going to show you right now. Hold on. Let me let this screen stop screening. Here we go. So when you go to the actual client, let me pick a real life client here. You're going to save the dispute, whatever you're doing for the client, and then you're going to go to start round. If you are doing so back up, are you using the new flow or the old flow? The flow that you're looking at right now, that's the one that you're using, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So just want to make sure we're on the same page. Sorry. So you would go to Punch Your Fury or whichever letter you're selecting at the time. And it has a box right here that says handwritten. And if you're going to send the letter to the creditor, you're going to click the box that says creditor. You're going to hit Supreme Boosted, and then you're going to start round, and it will generate it for you.
So you don't have to select anything to do the CFPB.
The CFPB is an external. You have to physically file it with the CFPB. That has nothing so what was happening where people were asking questions as to when is it a good time to file a CFPB complaint. Some people were filing a CFPB complaint in round one. There's not enough information for you to accurately get a movement or traction with a CFPB complaint. So CFPB is not in this software. CFPB is a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That is where you would go to actually file the complaint with them. And you wouldn't do it until round 5.
Yeah, that's a good question. That Miss White had, I guess, but because basically it kind of seems like it's in the software. Of course, it's not. Of course, you know, it's on the CFPB.gov, but it's basically it sort of seems like it's part of the flow in the software.
So I'm glad for that feedback. I think that when you read, let me check, because I think that the verbiage is in the steps, but I want to confirm. Hold on. Second type of attack. Great feedback. So right here it says at the start of your 5th round and 10th round, if you still don't have the desired results, upload the 4 rounds of attack to the attacks for the credit bureau and creditor, and also attack them via the CFPB. So it's not an internal system we have, but what I will do is send that message back so that they know to possibly change the verbiage, because for new people that are coming on, they may not, to your point, you may not know that the CFPB is a completely separate entity. So I love that feedback. I'll definitely give it to them.
Thank you for that.
My
Yeah, and then it looks like there are just some other things like letter color and letter sides. I assume you get to choose those after you have started the attack or
Yep,
starting
so
a
when
round.
you go to the attack, if you're telling, so it depends on how you're printing the letter. So if you're having the system print the letter and mail it out for you, you would click mail them out, and this is where you would go to edit it from double side to single side. And then if you wanted it to be color, you say yes. If you don't want color, you say no. If you are mailing it out yourself, it's completely up to you. I have a color printer and I have a black and white printer. I alternate between the two because I want these letters printed and mailed out. So but if you're telling the system to do it, that's where you would go, is when you click on mail them out, you would tell the system how you want the letter to be printed and mailed for you. Great.
Gotcha. And then under static, it says like Lexus, Innovis. I just don't really understand what that means, and maybe it's somewhere else in the guide and I missed it. But it's here,
Um,
I just don't understand what you choose or what that means under static.
Okay, so when you go, so right here on page 6, it's showing you how you do the static letters and how you would select them. So when you physically finish, so you have to do the attack first. So you have to do the punch of fury or whatever letter you're selecting, you'd have to do that first. After you've done that, you would hit start round again and you would select static letters. If it's round 1, I do handwritten again, and you would scroll down to the secondary bureaus and you would select all of them. So the breakdown is located in the flow on page 6 as to how you would get to those static letters. Is your question, how do you get to them? Or is the question, what do they do?
What did they do? Well, actually both.
Okay. So how you get to them, I just showed you. Do you need me to show you again before I explain what they are? I just want to make sure you saw it because
No,
sometimes
I
thanks.
I think that makes sense. You first have to send the attack in, and then after that you would click on start round again and then click on static letter, and then you'd have to, I guess, start a new round, but it's just with the static letters.
Correct. So the static letters are the letters that are going to the secondary companies that houses your information. So everyone normally focuses on the 3 major credit bureaus within the US, which is Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. But that information is funneled to them through these secondary departments, right? And these secondary companies, one of the major ones that everyone knows about is LexisNexis. I would say the next 2 are like Credco and FactorTrust and Clarity. Those are the next 3 major ones. But in every industry, there are multiple secondary bureaus that are out here helping to feed your information. So every time you apply for an apartment, if there's an eviction, if there's repo, there is literally a company collecting that information and funneling that information to the credit bureau as well. So when you're doing the credit repair, your late payment information, inquiries, all of that stuff is still being held at the secondary agencies. And sometimes it makes it difficult because you can remove it primarily at the credit bureaus, but then these secondary agencies, when they update your information, are just going to funnel it back over to the credit bureau again. So we want to give you the ability to attack the major ones. But there are several companies that has that information. So that's why you have to do the static letters after you do the round, so that whatever accounts are linked to those secondary bureaus, we can go ahead and get them disputed as well in real time. So that's why the flow itself gives you when you're supposed to dispute with the credit bureaus and the secondary bureaus, and when you should only be disputing with the credit bureau itself. And the static letters are free, so you never pay for any of them, no matter what credit monitoring software you're using, as long as you have $1 in your account. I heard a little bit of like noise. Is that you, Mr. Coleman?
I don't, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Okay.
Because I was talking and like 2 of them chimed in. I was like, wow.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you at all, but we hear you now. You loud, live, and in color.
Okay, so my question was, I got with Dispute Panel when they initially started, and then I laid off for a whole year, and I just started up about 2 months ago, and they kept telling me to update to the Pro, so I did that. My question is, what's the difference, as far as the dashboards and the tabs on the Pro? Because I can't do, see what different is. You know what I mean? Is
Okay.
there any other features that come with the Pro, or what?
Okay, I can answer that question to tell you what the difference is. Give me 1 second. Zoom caller, I'm so sorry. I don't know your name. Did you have any other questions outside of that before I jump over to Mr. Coleman?
Thank you for checking in really quickly. That was a wonderful explanation. The only other question I had was just about the creditor letters, which I see are direct to data furniture disputes, and you don't have them unless you have Pro, but like what difference does that make? Like what is its function? And if you don't send those, like, yeah, I guess like the pros and cons of that.
Cool. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna be able to answer that question because that is actually a pro feature. So I'll be able to answer both of you guys' question kind of simultaneously. Before I continue, hey, welcome, Mr. Hunter. Welcome, Manifest My Vision. So super excited that you guys are here. Hey, Mr. White. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm going to answer a couple of the pro questions in real time because what the Zoom caller, what's your name, honey?
Lisa?
Lisa. Hey, Lisa. Okay, a couple of the questions that Mr. Coleman and Miss White have are kind of intertwined, so I want to be able to answer them both together. So if you guys are just coming in and if you have questions, you can drop it in the chat after, or you can raise your hand. We're going to go through this together. The question that was asked by Mr. Coleman and Miss Zoom is basically, Mr. Coleman was asking what's the difference between the pro and the free feature, and Miss Lisa was asking what is the benefit of the creditor letter. Now, the creditor letter is a pro feature that is given. So I'm going to be able to tackle this together, but I want to kind of show you guys some stuff first. So when Mr. Coleman, when you say what's the difference between the free and the pro version gives you a plethora of things. So the first thing that the pro version gives you is a safe client access portal. So what that means is that when your clients come, or when you have clients and you're on a coaching call or a sign-up call or a consulting call, right? You can take their information and you can add them in as an actual client. And there's this button right here that says invite the client to safe client access. What that allows them to do is they have their own dashboard that they can now sign into, and they will be able to upload their own IDs, upload their own username, password. They're able to upload all the documents, sign the contract that you have embedded in the system, and make payments, kind of do everything on their own. So the only thing that you would be doing yourself would be putting the client into the software. Now, with the pro feature under the subscription tab, you can create your own onboarding form. So instead of you filling out the whole information for the client, let's say you do a consultation call, you go over the credit report, you tell them what their pricing is, you can actually send them your onboarding form. You can send them a lead form on your website. You can put a lead form in where it just kind of collects their username, password, and you can link this system to whatever email system you have, so that once they fill out that lead form, they start getting emails from your actual corporation. Or if you have another database that sends text messages, you can link Zapier so that this system can talk to the other system and get client engagement together. If you are at an event or anything like that, you can actually have your link set up to a QR code, and anyone that wants to sign up will be able to click, put their information in, put their email in, put all their data, and actually make the payment to start the process with you in real time. You do not get that feature with the free version, okay? Hang on one second. Sorry about that. So when it comes to the onboarding, when it comes to the payment options, connecting your merchant service, creating different plans, all of that is available in the subscription tab that is only available with the Pro, okay? Another feature that they give you is the report feature. The report feature allows you, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. The Pro feature allows you to take a screenshot, basically a snippet of the activity that your business has done while it's been in motion. So deletions, dollars that has been deleted, score increases, and you're able to take that on the company level, which is on the main screen, and also on the client level, so that you can turn it into a social media post and share it in the social media posting as well. So that's another pro feature that you get along with the safe client access. Now, the creditor letters are only letters that are acceptable if you have Pro and you have Credit Dyno. You have to have those two softwares working together in order for you to generate the letter. Why is the creditor letter necessary? So it's a more aggressive way to attack the profile for late payments, repos, charge off, collections, things of that nature for your client. Because sometimes what happens is when you send the letters to dispute on a month-to-month basis to the credit bureau, that dispute that happens, they only check their internal system. So they're only using the eOscar system, or they're verifying the information that was sent in by those secondary bureaus into their system. They're never actually reaching out to the creditor. With you reaching out to the creditor, they now have a 30-day window, or they're going to be in violation. A lot of creditors are not willing to run the risk of violating the protocol, so they're going to respond back with your payment history. They're going to respond back with whatever errors that the letter has generated that says that may have happened, so that they can correct it and get the information to the credit bureau. So think of that creditor letter as an extra layer of attack method that is a one-click button for you to be able to do. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Okay.
I think
So
so.
that's kind of how the Pro kind of differs from, well, not kind of, that is how the Pro differs from the free platform. So if you just have the free platform, you don't have the Safe Client Portal access, you don't have the access to the subscription tab to where you can collect funds or monies from your client on a consistent basis. You don't have the ability to integrate the systems into any other portal that you may have. And yeah, you don't have the email sequence as well. Other than that, everything else is still attainable. So if you choose to do the free process, that means you're loading the client's information in, you're collecting the ID, you're using another system to basically collect payments, because this subscription option is not available if you have a free account.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, great
All right.
question. And since I have you guys here, and I know that everyone's in different spaces, I did want to let you guys know that I do have a credit boot camp that's coming up tomorrow and Saturday. We still have some room for the VIP and for general admission, and we cover the full workflow and kind of break it down into digestible chunks within the course of the 2 days, that we go over what the letter means, what are some other ways to attack, how to respond when you get letters back that may say verified, or may say that all the information is accurate, but you have a full payment history. So we're going to cover how to handle those things outside of just sending out the next round of letters, right? We're deep sea diving into the credit repair foundation. And we also talk about the secondary companies that are in addition to the ones that are basically listed in this database. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat. So if anyone is wanting to come to the masterclass, you guys have the ability to kind of dive in and meet me there for 2 days. It's a 2-day class. I like to be completely honest, as you guys know what's going on in advance. So did you have another question, Mr. Coleman, before I move on to the next set of people?
Not as of yet. I think I got some more questions, but my mind froze right now. But I did, kind of ponder off into this, and I seen the plan, the form, and the ad, the website.
Mm-hmm.
I did see all of that. So I hadn't even did none of that. But yeah, so you still get the static letters and all that, with credit code and all that, them tabs when you dispute.
Yep, the only thing that you do not get on the free platform are all of the amenities that I just mentioned, and you do not get the creditor letters. So the only thing that you're able to get on the actual free version are the round of attacks, the static letters, and basically I want you to think of the free version as a place to house your clients for free. You can house their information, you can house their data, and you're able to dispute their letters. So if you have Credit Dyno, and you have the free version, your rounds of attacks are completely free.
Okay, so Credit Dino, is that same like Smart Credit, Identity IQ? It's just something
Yes,
y'all got integrated.
but the Credit Dino gives you the full 7 years report for your client, where the Smart Credit and Identity IQ only gives you 2 years. So it creates some gaps that you can't really have a full, robust conversation with the client about. But yes, it's basically the same credit monitoring. You do get $8. So if you're using Credit Dino, put it this way, you're in the positive by $25 because you save $17 for the round of attack because you're getting a free round of attack every 35 days. Plus you're making $8 commission off of every month that they pay their monthly bill.
Okay, all right. So I did start at this Credit Dino on this affiliate dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't complete it. Like I said, it's been 2 months, like off and on. I just, starting to get my customers back. Get everything going back again.
No, and just remember that the Credit Dino, that dashboard is whether you have the free platform or the pro. So even if you downgrade to the free, you still get that credit monitoring. You still get paid out $8. You can choose to call Credit Dino and get different tiers so you can increase the type of packages that you're offering for credit monitoring for your clients so that your payout is now more.
Okay.
Okay. Great questions. I love it. Okay. Mr. G had his hand up first. So what's going on, Mr. White? How can I help?
Hey, good morning. Good afternoon. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Doing all right. I had a couple questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, am I missing it? But are we able to? How can we see the personal information for the clients, like the name, all the different names, addresses that might be on their client?
You have to log. Are you making them use Credit Dino?
Yes.
You have to log into Credit Dino to see that.
So I have to log into their Credit Dino?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought like when we go to client and click on it, we can able to see it, like how we see payment history and all that.
So I want to make sure that I'm understanding the question because I don't want to get it wrong. You're saying to me that you want to see the client's actual full address. You're talking about on the credit report, correct?
Correct.
So, because remember, the credit report that's being pulled in, it's only capturing the inquiries, any public information or any accounts they have. So if you're wanting to see how many different names they have, you have to physically go to the credit report.
Gotcha. So I just have to log in like I was doing.
Yeah. And you have that login information right here. So all you have to do is just open whatever credit monitoring service they have. If they have Credit Dino, you just log into Credit Dino, put their username and password, and they'll pull up their profile and you'll be able to see it right at the first box. You're good to go.
Okay. My next question is the reports tab, right?
Mm-hmm.
The where it says updates, like you click on updates.
Okay.
So like when you scroll down and it says 16 late payments updated.
Mm-hmm.
How can I see where did those payments get updated from?
You would have to scroll down here to read the account statements to see where the changes happen. These icons here will show you where the changes happen. So you see how I hover over here and it says added. So this particular installment has been added. Right here shows this has been deleted. So that's where you would see the information. You'd have to physically scroll down here to see what has changed, what is being said right here.
And the same for deletions.
That is
like
correct.
If it's not 100% deleted.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if you see right here, when I'm hovering right over here by that little check mark, it says deleted, deleted. Then this says added, added. So that's where you see that information. Added, added. And now it's positive here. It was negative here, positive here. It says no set up here. So this was deleted, this is deleted, and here down here is added back and it's now positive, right? So that's where you would see the shift.
So add it back and now it's positive. Okay.
Mhm.
My other question was, so like if you get, let's just say you have like ABC collection, and it's on all three,
Mhm.
and you get ABC. Let's just say you get ABC collection off of TransUnion, right? Isn't there a way you could because I know that you have the rights to a accurate and up-to-date credit report. So if they
Mhm.
delete it off one, they have to delete it off the other two. So is there a way to upload the credit document and
That would be
print all them?
something that you would be manually doing. That's not
That'd be,
something that the system would do. So you would manually write a letter that says this information has been updated on these 3 credit bureaus. Let me show you how it was deleted. So you can then attach the proof of the deletion from the credit report that the customer gets. And you can literally send that into the other credit bureau stating they have updated and deleted this off, please remove it. But that would be a manual letter that you'd be writing.
that'd be a manual. Okay.
That is
Yeah,
correct.
that's what I've been doing. I was just wondering if y'all had a like a automatic workaround or something that automatically had the account information and all that, so I don't have to put it in there.
So what you would have to do is when you're under the dispute tab, you would have to customize it and put the actual letter in here so that when it pulls the round, it will automatically have that account information in there. So if Discover was removed from the other two, the letter that you've been typing, you would just copy the body of that information over here. And then that way the account information, all of that would appear on that one particular letter.
Got you. Okay.
Otherwise, you just do like a Microsoft Word letter, you put the account number in, and I would say you should have a template. I have a template like that that's just kind of in my Word doc. And whenever I have a situation like that, I just print it, I pull off the attachment that the client has that shows it's been deleted, and then I send it off to the other credit bureau.
Yeah, I just been ChatGPT. Okay.
Well, save
Gotcha.
that chat so you don't have to go back to ChatGPT over and over again. You follow what I'm saying? Just save it in your Word. And that way you have it. And all you got to do is change the account number and put the name. Just keep the blocks as to where you need to change, just the account number, the name, but the verbiage is still basically the same over and over again.
Gotcha. Okay.
Any other questions?
Not at this time.
All right, great. Thanks for stopping by, Mr. White. We lost Julian. All right, Matt. Oh no, Julian's still here. Okay, I'm gonna come back to you, Julian. Do you have a question? I saw you lowered your hand, but I wasn't quite sure if I had answered the question or not.
Oh yeah, I actually got disconnected.
Okay, what's your question, Pooh?
All right, my question is, the big thing is that I need to know how can I review the signed client agreement. Say, enrolled client, it gets down to about 4 months. The client wants to know, oh, what did I sign? I can't remember. How do we go back to view what that client agreement says?
Oh, that's a great question. I want to say that it's normally populates in the invoice tab. Because I don't have a signed contract in here and my contracts are not kept in the software like that. I want to say it's under your invoice tab or under your report, not your reports tab. Hold on. I'm gonna tell y'all where it's at now. Hold on. Yes, in your invoice tab is where you should be able to find it under the client. That's normally where they would store that information. But I will double check and bring it back if I'm wrong. But I want to say if the client, because the client gets let's be clear, the client has access to that signed contract in the dashboard. So when they sign that contract with whatever verbiage they have, it's stored in their dashboard. They get an email copy of it as well. So if for some reason they need it, it's still always going to be on the dashboard, but I want to say it's stored under the invoice tab.
So if I don't use the invoices that are within Dispute Panda, and if I want to be able to take a look at it without having to depend on the client to be able to go through it, is there a way for me to view it, or is that something that you said you will be able to get back to me about?
I guess I'm confused with the question. So if you're using the invoice tab, so if the person is using the system and signing the contract with the pro in the system, it's housed under the invoice tab. So you will always have access to that signed contract.
So even if I'm not using the native invoice feature within this Panda Pro, it will
One more time, you're breaking up. Say that again for me.
So even if I'm not using the native invoice feature that is within this Panda Pro, it will still be there.
If you are using,
because I'm not using. I'm sorry.
No,
I don't know if I'm in a bad area or whatever.
Go ahead.
So I'm not using the invoicing the native feature within Dispute Panda Pro. I'm using another merchant outside of Dispute Panda Pro. So are you saying that the client agreement will still be under invoices?
Yes, the client agreement should be stored under invoices because it's not going under history. So under the invoice tab is where you should still be able to see anything that the client signed for. So I don't want to get it confused. The invoice tab is where it houses and stores all the activity. So if you go to the balance tab and you go to invoices, you'll see that it has the pro feature, it has a statement feature, like it has all of your record information that the system is storing for you. So if the system is storing the contract because you're using the contract that you uploaded in the system. So if you went to organization and you put your contract service agreement here and that's what they signed, then that's where it's going to be housed, is under the invoice tab.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna try to. I'm on the freeway. I'm gonna pull over to the side of the road so I can pull it up on my computer. Okay. Well,
and if you don't see it in there, let me know, because I have no problem calling back office to like confirm, like, hey, did y'all move it? Again, I don't use because this is a dummy account. I don't. There's no contracts that went out, so I can't like see it on the back end. But when I from what I can remember on my platform, that is where I'm able to see it under the client's list, is under the invoice tab. So you can check it out and let me know. And if not, I will reach out to the back office to like, hey, can you tell me where it's hidden now? If they've made updates. If they've made updates, I'll be able to go ahead and ask them right now. Okay?
Okay.
Great question.
I will check that. And then also something that I've consistently run into, almost every client, when they upload documents, it's the first time they upload it, it's always blurry. And we have to go back and tell them to re-upload it, and then after about the second or third time it actually works. So I don't know how to be able to deal with that.
I would say send that feedback to info@Dispute Panda so that they're aware that you're having that issue. I manually collect the documents just for transparency. I don't really let them upload it because I have to crop it anyway. They always do something to it. So I would say send a message to back office and let them know that you're having that issue on the image of the documents.
So I've sent a couple emails. I haven't got a response back yet regarding that.
So here's what I always suggest. I always drop the Loom app in the chat. Do a video of it. That way you can see when someone has read it, and that way you know how long it's supposed to gauge. So if they read it and they haven't responded within 24 to 48 hours, you can send an updated message like, hey, I sent this message, no one's replied, can someone give me an update? So I'm going to drop that in the chat because I've not had a situation where no one has responded to me. But if that happens, let me know, and I'll drop my email in the chat too.
Okay. Also another thing, I want, in your opinion and anybody else on the call's opinion, say you have a client who getting ready to enroll, and let's just say they have a credit card that's 90 or 120 days late. And they have the cash to pay it off, right? and they say, well, I just got this cash, I'm ready to pay it off. But their goal is to be able to get all the negative items off their credit report off. So I could say, hey, go ahead and pay it off. And then now you have about all these late payments on there. But I mean, when it comes to late payments, at least from what I've seen, it's hard to get. Once you get past 3 late payments, it's hard to be able to get them all off on an account, right? Or I could say, well, you're already at 120 days late. I mean, you could not pay it and let it turn into a charge off, and then I could just delete the whole account off. So I wanted to see if you come across clients like that, what would you rather them do? To pay off the account to update it so that and now all those late payments are going to be still reported? Or would you say, well, just let it go because you're already damn near a charge off and it'll be easier to get it off as a charge off?
That is a
good
great
question. Yeah.
That's a great question, and this is what I'm going to ask as the person who does credit. My concern is, what is the impact that is going to affect that client if they let it go into charge off? So let's be clear, if the account goes into charge off, it's going to impact them way worse than a late payment is going to impact them, right? Yes, you have the ability to, once it goes into charge off, at a certain point, you can possibly do a pay per delete, you can possibly do a settlement, or you can possibly try to dispute to get that card off. Now, how old is that card? Because that's going to play a part into what my decision is going to be. Organically, my job is to help you get out of the red. So if you're telling me you have the liquid capital to save this card from being closed, I am going to proactively tell you to save that card. If the card is new and we're talking about under a year, I may not want to flex that option. I might give my clients the knowledge of, hey, here's how this is going to affect you in totality. There are 3 major parts of the credit score that is going to be impacted, possibly 4, if you choose to let this card go. Number 1, you're already impacting your payment history, which is 192 points. That's 35% of your score. If you continue to let this happen until we can get it charged off, because just because it gets into late, just because it hits collections, there's still a time frame, because before it goes from collections to charge off. All that time, that's impacting their late payment and in fact affecting that 35%, which is that 192 points. So that's number 1. Number 2, if this account, you continue to let it go down, you're going to impact your utilization, which is 30% of your score, which equates to 165 points. If you let this account go any further, you're going to lose the available credit, you're going to lose access to the funding, which means now your utilization has the potential to go up even further, because that available amount that you could just put the money down and get out of the situation is no longer going to be there. So you're impacting 2 parts of your score. The third is you're going to re-age the account, because if that account closes, they're now going to calculate the accounts that you officially have open, do what the ages are. And if that particular account is an old account and you then remove that account altogether, all that age and that on-time payment history before they went into the hiccup is now going to be removed with it. So you have to educate them with all of the options. I never tell them what to do. I lay out the options and say, hey, if you elect to do a charge off, not pay this, even though you have the capital, these are the buckets that's going to be impacted if you make that play, right? If you make the play to go ahead and pay the money, keep your card open, and have the available line, yes, we run the risk at that late payment is there, but you're earning back the points you lost by making those on-time payments and allowing us to try to combat, see if we can get goodwill letters, see if we can go ahead and combat the late payments that are going there. You have a better opportunity the further that person goes with making the payment. So my recommendation is never to tell the client what to do. My recommendation is to educate them on how either choice is going to impact them, and then have them make the necessary decision going from there. Does that make sense?
Definitely makes sense. And since a lot of my clients they're going for funding or they're trying to go for funding, and I'm always about making sure that you pay what you owe, right?
Right.
And the downside about paying what they owe, those late payments, I'll be able to get 3 late payments off, but after that, it's going to be hard. And then no matter what, they're not going to be able to get funding, even if I get everything else off their credit. But if they let it go, yes, it will be temporarily messed up, right? But at least we'll be able to start from square one, and I have a chance to be able to get the full charge off the credit report. Yes, it might take a little bit longer, but I mean, there's a chance where I'll be able to get the full charge off. Then they'll be ready for funding. But if I keep that late payment on and they just pay it off, then it's like there's no chance they're going to be able to get funding.
I think it depends on who you're going through, because I've had clients who've had late payments on their profile and I can still get them funding. The question was how long ago was that late payment? Again, they're all factors, right? So if we're talking, so here's my thing. How you looking for funding and you ain't paid your bill? You follow what I'm saying? Like we're having a conversation that you're still not willing to do the proper dance in order to get you what you want. So now I'm going to go out here. We're going to get you more funding. We're going to wipe this off. And you're still not going to be paying the bills on time because your recent track record says, I don't pay on time. You follow what I'm saying? So, so even if you let it go into charge off, let's be clear, they're not going to charge off in 30 days. So if they go from collections and then trend over to charge off, you're still putting yourself in a situation where they're still going to have to eat crow for a little bit because they're sitting there and waiting. Why not give them the opportunity to salvage an account with a relationship that they won't be burning a bridge? Yeah. But again, it depends on what they want to do. So my thing is always education. Give them the play. Hey, you can choose to do this. These are what's going to impact until we are able to get the charge off, until we're then able to get the charge off removed. And then we can run that particular play. But ultimately, I personally tell people, if you have 3 months of or more of late payments, you can't even enter my program until you would enter my budgeting program for me to consistently see you now paying things on time, right? That you intend to keep. But I'm not taking you on as a client, and I'm daggone sure to take you on as a funding client. You messing up my money.
Well, I hear that.
Messing up my money. But it depends on how you want to pivot. So what I say, it's completely up to you as long as you educate them either way. But the red flag to me is if I get you $20,000 or I get you $50,000 of funding and I get this blemish off, how do I know you're going to pay this back for me to continue to help you move forward? Because the point is always to have repeat business, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, and I think based on what you're saying, I think I'm gonna have to start saying this, like, hey, money is not going to be realistic for you, like anytime soon, even if we get everything else off your credit, because in those late payments that I was referring to, they're within the last year, right? Like they're like five months.
I'm going to say this, don't 86 them getting funding, because I do believe, again, depending on what the underwriter is, and this is why you need to have good relationships. If you can get them 6 months of on-time payment, especially if it's business funding and we're leveraging their business assets and they have deposits coming in, a lot of times some of the underwriters will leverage that equity and those different fundings. And that's something that I am covering on Saturday. They can leverage some of those things to wipe away some of the personal issues and isms that your client has, right? But ultimately, what I'm saying for you as a business person, you don't make the choice for them. You're going to give them the plan and say, this is red pill, this is blue pill. What pill do you want to swallow? I'm willing to work with you either way. Because either way it goes, it's going to take time to get you what you want, right? Whether you go the funding route or you go the other route.
Right. Absolutely. Makes sense. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. And one more, where can we go for more information about the email sequence?
So my coaching class is tomorrow. It's in the chat. Let me grab it.
So this is separate from Dispute Panda Pro?
Yep, completely separate from Dispute Panda Pro. It's a class that I'm having for everyone that said that they wanted to get support and needed to get help, I created a course that takes you guys from start to finish. Personal credit and business credit as well.
Love it. All right,
All
thank
right.
you.
My pleasure. Have a good one. Thanks for pulling up on us. Oh gosh, I lost massive dropped off. Hopefully they come back so I can answer their question. But hold on 1 second, Mr. G. Massive came back. So Massive's hand was up first. I'm sorry, Manifest hand was up first. So give me a second. Let me get Manifest hands and then Manifest Vision.
Okay.
I've just given you names. I'm so sorry. How can I help?
Hey, how you doing?
Great.
All right, so I did have a few questions. So, so I'm just getting back into the credit company platform, and I'm familiar with the Metro 2. So is Panda Dispute just a new form of the Metro 2 when it was Prodigy Surge and all that before?
We are not Prodigy Surge at all.
Okay, so my next question is this dispute with Panda Dispute going strictly to the credit bureaus, or what about the secondary and the secondary data furnishing companies? I did hear you mention.
Great question. So when you click on the training tab in Dispute Panda, we actually give you a guide. And on the guide, it tells you who you're able to dispute and what in the software. So I definitely recommend, if you guys have not done that as of yet, click on training. At the very top, it says free download. Click that download.
They were gonna pick up the order for the customer on the platform.
Are you talking to me, sweetie? Hello?
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm listening.
Oh, no problem. So when you get the download, it shows you that you can dispute with the credit bureaus, the creditors, and the third party credit secondary creditors. So you are able to do all three within this software.
Okay, so you say I'm able to do all three of them.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. My next question would be, I see that you've seen a lot of deletions. So what's like the average turnaround? Am I waiting a whole 30 days to do the rounds before I start seeing results?
So it's not about you seeing results that you're waiting a whole 30 days. You are per the law, you are supposed to allow the credit bureaus 30 days to process your dispute request. I've had clients who see results within the first 14 days. I post on my social media all the time. I just got one person where the bankruptcy was removed off of one full credit bureau already. And she's only been with me now. She's at day 47, right? So again, it doesn't, you have to allow 30 days for the dispute to go through. That doesn't mean that you're not going to see movement, or the client may not get updates and alerts, especially if they're leveraging Credit Karma, but you're not sending rounds out, but every 35 days within the software. Great question.
Okay, so it's every 35 days. Mm-hmm. So I guess my next question would be, how is this comparing? Say if I was already in the process of utilizing consumer law and doing it, I guess, manually, and then I tap into the Dispute Panda platform, would it be an interference to go ahead and still continue on that method, trying to get the max results as I can? Because sometimes they kind of flag you if you got too many disputes coming in from too many avenues. So
correct.
would it interfere?
It's the same principle.
And still attacking them or going at them manually using consumer? I guess that's the question.
So what I'm going to advise you is that it depends on what you want to do or what your client has. If you have a proven consumer law method that has been working and you know the sequence, you can actually put the consumer law letters in the actual Dispute Panda so that when you go to attack, you can leverage those consumer law letters that you already have pre-done in the software wherever it's applicable. And then you can let the system do everything else. But again, just like you're saying, there's frivolous reporting. You don't want to be doing 13 things at one time. It's basically the same premise. However, if you have letters, for instance, that you are using for consumer law for charge off, you can choose to put those letters in the software, and then you can let the system do it for all of the other like late payment questions and things of that nature. So you don't have to, you can basically let the system do both for you. But the system does do factual disputing and Metro in the software. If you are doing consumer law, you have to embed that information into the software. And you
Okay,
would
so even
do
though
that here. Sorry,
yeah.
let me show you. So you do that by putting it here, and you can actually save the template so that going forward you have access to it.
Okay, so even though the system is going to accumulate its own process of disputing, I can just go an extra mile by adding the consumer law laws into it as in a letter format. Is basically what
So
you're
it's
saying.
not going to be added. I want to clarify. It will be, so let's say you picked a letter and the letter was Punch of Fury, right? That was the Punch of Fury letter. But you have a specific consumer law that you want to use for American Express. You would physically put that consumer law template in here. You can save it. It will then only print out the consumer law letter that you have for the American Express. The standard dispute will go with all the other accounts that are on there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but are you saying that overriding the Panda dispute process if I use consumer law and it's not going to do both?
No, the dispute Panda, once you put your template letter in there, it's only going to generate your template letter for that one specific account. It's not going to generate the template letter and the standard dispute letter. They won't merge them together. You have
Okay,
one
yeah,
or the other.
that's what I was trying to clarify. So I have to choose one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Any other questions, my love?
No, I'm good. I'll let somebody else.
All right, thank you so much. All right, Mr. White, you're up next. What questions do you have, my love?
Just to piggyback on what he was just talking about, because I do that a lot. What I normally do is I have my own templates and I put in there, and then I usually pick either Supreme or Supreme Boosted, so I get consumer law and Metro 2 at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that works out pretty good because like some of those, I like using my own late payment verbiage. That's just my personal preference. It works better. I mean, you can use whatever you want to use, but if it's late payments, I go in there and do what I got to do, especially if it's on an open account. And then I let the AI do the rest of it.
Yeah.
So you can do both that way. That's what I do.
So you're saying when you do the Supreme Boosted and you put the comment in, it will let you do both at the same time?
Yeah, it'll have an opening statement, and then whatever account I put it under,
yeah,
it'll have the Metro 2, and then it will have what I put in there underneath that account, if you follow what I mean.
Well, see, that's the workaround. There we go. I don't do that, y'all. I'm just gonna tell y'all the truth. I got my own. When I do my own letter, I don't want you to touch nothing. But Mr. White says I be working the system. Okay. So while that is still in play, go ahead and run that. Manifest my vision. Were you saying something, Julian?
I was saying, I agree. I concur with what brother was saying.
I love that. So they're saying that if you use the Supreme Boosted option, so that means that you would put the comment in here first. You would hit use template. You would save it. And then when you come over here and you do the Supreme Boosted letter, it will have the heading, the comment, and all of that together.
Yes, ma'am.
I love it like fish grease.
And I had another question.
Okay.
I've been playing around with it, but I noticed y'all have updated the payment logic, the late payment logic. What is that?
Okay.
What is that based on? Because I see it's working out pretty good. It's starting to say some of the things I like to see. So I noticed y'all did an update on that. So what is that based on? Like, I mean,
the data points, the data. So especially when you guys are using Credit Dyno, we're tracking the information on the back. So that's how we know the letter verbiage is working or not, so that we know to let the system know this worked really, really well. Let's keep tweaking it with this information because we're seeing results versus it wasn't working. So we kept using the data that was coming in to adjust. That's why we stress using Credit Dyno, because that data point tracks down to like the coding for us to make the next series of letters? Great question.
Gotcha. My other question was, okay, so like when you do, so like, you know, I put in custom messages on the under, you know, for the credit bureaus. Is there a way to have a different message for the creditor letters that I can customize? Because I notice when I do that and print out the creditor letters, it spits out the verbiage that I had that I was meaning for the credit bureaus. So sometimes I have to go in and do 2 different attacks. So my verbiage that I want that go to the creditors get sent out that way, if you understand what I mean.
What you may have to do is just edit the one that no. The answer to the question is right now, no, that's not an option. I would say send that message to the back office to see if there's a way that they can integrate that tweak.
Gotcha. And my next question, I got another question now because I like to learn, you know what I'm saying? And I have my own process, but you know, you never can have too many different processes. I'm gonna be traveling this weekend. Is there another time you want me doing this class or?
Oh yeah, this is gonna be ongoing. I'm gonna do it kind of like every other month so that the new people that come in or people that want a refresher, they'll be able to have access to that. Plus the mentorship program is opening up April. So I need to make sure that you guys have access to the course and the information throughout. Great question.
Gotcha. And I think I had your phone number. Could I text that to see what the if I can get like a one-on-one or something? I have some questions about some things.
A booking link. I will drop the booking link for you so you can book with me. Not a problem. I will drop it in the chat. Give me a second because my computer is not computering. But I will drop it in the chat in a minute so you guys can grab it.
Cool. Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Raquel.
My pleasure. All right. Any other questions?
I just pulled over and the client agreements aren't there.
Are not showing up there? Okay, let me send a message to the back office. I will ask them where they moved it and hopefully someone can answer me tonight. If not, I put my email in the chat. Can you shoot me an email? And that way I can email back to you guys. And I will also comment where they moved it to on the YouTube page. So everyone that's watching, I will make sure to go to the YouTube channel once it's uploaded and put the updated information in there.
Perfect. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I have one more question before we depart.
Give me 1 second, my love. Hold on. Where can the members find those stored? Since they're not in the invoice tab. Thanks. All right. So as soon as I get a reply back, I will email you. So my email is in the chat. You can shoot me an email. I'll email you directly. And for all of you guys that are watching on YouTube or in the community, I will go ahead and plug that information in there just in case y'all wanted to know as well. All right. Someone else had a question.
Yeah, that was me again, Manifest My Vision.
Okay. What's up? What's up? How can I help?
So it's even though we use this software, it's okay for us still to go in and correct, clean up, and opt out of the secondary bureaus.
Say it again.
Is it okay for us to still go in and opt out and clean up our secondary bureaus?
So I personally don't opt out, but you can opt out if you choose. That's not free. You don't necessarily have to freeze with this process, but you can choose to do that because remember, you still have letters that you can dispute. That's what the static letters are. The static letters give you the ability to dispute the secondary bureaus. Now they only have a limited list here. So here I should say limited. They have the major ones. So they have Factor Trust, Microtel, DataX, Clarity, Credco, ARS, LCI, Innovis, and LexisNexis. So If you have the others that you want to do as well, you can opt out of them. You can send dispute letters to them also. You don't have to separate your divide and conquer method. You can still choose to do that if you desire.
Okay, so it's options within a software to attack the secondary bureaus as well.
That is what the static letters are for, my love. Yeah, so if you're looking at my screen right now, when it says static letters, it says LexisNexis, Innovis, LCI. Those are all the secondary bureaus. So we're telling you to dispute with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Credit Dyno, I know it said that there's an affiliate network. So if I already have an affiliate link with Identity IQ, My Score IQ, this is pretty much the same concept.
So those are all credit monitoring. Yes. So Credit Dyno and those other credit links, you can keep those affiliate. The difference between the two is we track the information again with Credit Dyno because Credit Dyno was made to work in conjunction with Dispute Panda. It also gives you the 7 years of the full report, and it breaks down the utilization and stuff like that. But yes, if you have other credit monitoring softwares, you can leverage that. Just understand that you're paying per round, where if they were using Credit Dyno, you would not be paying for the round of disputes.
Okay, so yeah, that was another question I think you're asking for me. So me signing on with the Pro after my trial and paying the $200 a month, I'm not paying for any individual letters that I submit for my clients.
As long as they're using Credit Dyno.
As long as my clients are enrolled and paying for Credit Dyno, or
That is correct.
I'm paying for it.
Nope. Now you can choose to do a sponsorship, but I don't. I make my clients pay for Credit Dyno unless your price model includes that cost. You can choose to have a sponsorship for Credit Dyno. However, I personally have my clients pay for their monthly Credit Dyno membership. And as long as they have Credit Dyno, whether you're paying for it or the client is paying for it, their monthly round of attack is free. So you're not paying anything for the attack round if Credit Dyno is being used as the credit monitoring software.
So how much is the Credit Dyno? How much is the Credit Dyno?
$29.99.
You say $29.99?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, $30 like that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, one more question.
Take your time. I'm here. I'm not running. My husband just came home, so I might have to run. I'm joking. I'm not running.
Okay. Okay, so per client, if I have the Pro account, how many letters or how many rounds am I limited to? Am I limited to this per client attack letters? And that's the purpose of me buying into the Pro account?
So let me clarify, because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Okay. The pricing for the free platform is it's free completely. But if you are using any credit monitoring software outside of Credit Dyno, you're paying $17 per round of attack. You should not be sending out any rounds outside of every 35 days, whether you're using Credit Dyno, Identity IQ, Smart Credit. To be in compliance with what the law has written, you are supposed to be sending out disputes every 30 days. We say 35 because you want the time for the mail to get there, 30 days for them to process, and for the mail to get back. So if you are using the free platform and you are using any credit monitoring software outside of Credit Dyno, you are paying $17 per round of attack. If you go to the Pro membership, it is the same premise. If you are using any other credit monitoring software, it's $17 per round of attack. The only difference is with the Pro and with Credit Dyno, you get creditor letters, you get credit bureau letters, and you get the static letters. With the free, you only get the credit bureau letters and the static letters. That is it. But whether you're on the Pro or you're on the free platform, if your client is using any other credit monitoring software besides Credit Dyno, you are charged $17 per round And it's supposed to be once a month because you're supposed to be doing the rounds of attack every 35 days. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, it does. It does. And I don't want to sound like, so if I have to pay the $200 a month, what am I paying $200 a month for if I still have to pay $17 per attack?
So
It's just for the extra incentive and benefit that I'm getting with the pro account.
So you're getting the Safe Client Portal access, which your client gets their own dashboard to load their stuff. You're getting the merchant service. You're getting the on-form paperwork, the onboarding paperwork that you can utilize. You're getting the integration in the software where you can have your emails, text messages, whatever. When they sign up for the onboarding, you can have them integrated into that other platform service. And if you have the pro feature, the only other additive that you get when you have Credit Dyno are those creditor letters. So you do not, so if you have the free platform and you click on this option right here will not be available to you. You will not be able to generate any creditor letters. So if you're using the free platform, you only get the letters to the credit bureau and to the secondary agencies. That's it. That's all that you get with the free platform. If we're talking process-wise, right? So if you don't care about a dashboard, you don't care about the merchant service, you don't care about any of those things, the ability to share the reports and share your stats on the client level, on the corporate level, if you don't care about any of that stuff, you can keep the free platform, and the free platform will give you letters to the creditors and to the secondary bureaus. You'll get that automatically. And you'll pay $17 if they're with any other credit monitoring software. If they are with Credit Dyno, you get the attack for free every 35 days.
Okay, understood. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but if you don't want any of those bells and whistles, you don't want to have the people on board, you don't want to have your merchant service link, you know, if you're using something else to already do that, then you can keep the free platform. You just have to organically write your own creditor letters because that's not generated for you at all on the free, and it's only generated on the pro if you have Credit Dyno. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Awesome. Sorry. Hopefully that helped. I was like, I felt like I heard you go, what? Yeah. So yeah, you're paying $17 whether you're on the pro or the free if you are not using Credit Dyno. If you are using Credit Dyno, you're up $25 because you're getting the $17 round for free and you're getting $8 for every person that has the credit monitoring on the base level. Okay. Julian, what question? Your hand came up first. What question do you have?
Earlier, you had mentioned that you do not use the default client agreement, and you also mentioned that you collect documents outside of Safe Client Access. So how do you implement that in your onboarding process? Let's just say that you don't want them, or you haven't signed a different client agreement. When they're going through the onboarding, that's the first thing that they ask them to do is to complete the client agreement. And then after that is to upload those documents. So do you tell the clients to just sign whatever's there and then you send them like
I have a different onboarding form. So because I have integration, I have a different onboarding sequence. They still get taken to the dashboard. They just don't have they don't have to sign that agreement. So I give my clients, like when I talk to them and I onboard them, I specifically tell my clients what documents I need because I'm educating them. A lot of times I'm trying to find out if their ID matches where they live. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling them specifically what items to upload onto the software. And my integration system that I have has a different sequence. So it does still send them the Safe Client Access portal, but the first message that goes out to them is my contract, and then it loads them into the Safe Client Access portal thereafter. So I have
Do you mind sharing what software you use to have them sign the agreement?
Sure, I can actually drop that in the chat. Hold on one second.
And then when they get to the Safe Client Access, I think the first thing it asks for is to sign the client agreement. Do you just tell them to sign? And I'm not sure.
I do have them sign that agreement. I do have them sign that agreement on there because the system still needs them to have it with the signature. So that information, but my contract is more detailed. That's why I don't necessarily, my contract has a payment schedule. My contract has a refund schedule. Like my contract has a privacy policy. It has a power of attorney agreement. So I have way more things in my contract than just that. So I have the federal stuff that's required, and then I have all the stuff that's required for the state of Texas in my specific contract. So that is why I opt to have a standard contract that's in that profile, but I send them my full robust contract itself as the first thing that they sign. So that's something that goes out first because of my onboarding sequence and how I have my integration set up. And then they get the safe client access. And once they log in, they're just signing a general contract for me to have their signature on file.
No, absolutely makes sense. And so you said you have a Texas specific agreement. I had talked to someone who makes contracts, and he said, really, you need and I wanted to see what was your opinion on it. He said I needed to purchase 50 different or 40 different contracts in order to be able to do business with clients anywhere around the country. And then I've talked to other people, and they said, I mean, kind of technically, but no one really follows that. And I have someone offering to make all the agreements, the client agreements for me for all the specific states. So I wanted to know what your thought was, since you have a Texas specific client agreement.
So my feelings on client agreement or setting up business is, number one, Georgia doesn't allow us to do anything in that state. So let's start there. Georgia does not like credit repair companies unless you're affiliated with an attorney and all that other stuff. So for Georgia, I have a DIY platform. For the other states, my recommendation is I don't care about those other states until I have enough clients that are coming out of that specific state for me to be concerned, because every single state has different requirements. And I also have to take in consideration my bond. I also have to take into consideration what insurance or errors and omission that I need to have. So I don't really care about the other states until I have enough money that will move for that particular state. So if I see that I'm getting 5 or 6 people or 7 people that are signing up, and that's going to cover the cost for the error, omission, and all of that, then I will go ahead and then say, let me get a contract specific for that state, and let me go make sure my bond is interchangeable from where I am to that location. I have a higher bond because I was also, I have a higher bond in insurance because I was also a loan agent signer. I can't even remember the name, but I was doing like higher homes, like I was doing $1 million homes or more for mortgages. So because of that, I got higher coverages. So with that, by default, there are a lot of other states that I can default and cover because of my error emissions and all of that other stuff, right? But I would say before you dive into those particular states or getting contracts for those, is the money coming in for me to even take on the cost of registering in that state or having license or having compliances for that particular location? Because if I'm doing 1 or 2 people, it's not worth it.
So do you still take on the client, or do you turn them down if you don't have the contract in that state that they're from?
My contract is not a Texas fully contract. So I have the Texas guidelines, but I have a more aggressive contract. So my contract is more favorable with like California with their laws and their policies. It's more aggressive that way. And because of my bond and my insurance coverages that I have, there are about 10 other states that I can take on without having to do anything extra with my verbiage on my contract or anything. So that's why I'm saying, if you are very aggressive with your contract up front, if the contract that you're writing is spelling everything out, it's giving you the power of attorney, it's giving you the refund policy, it's giving you your policy and procedures. If your contract already has those meat and potatoes that most of those other states are going to want you to have, if they have higher limits, and then you have the bond to cover it, I don't necessarily see the point in writing an additional contract, right? But if
Mhm.
your particular so for instance, Florida don't really need you to do nothing. You don't got to have a license. You don't have to have a certificate. You don't have to do nothing to do credit repair in Florida. I can take on all the Florida people I want because I don't need anything in the state of Florida. You follow what I'm saying? So it depends on how much business am I getting from that place for me to then say, I now need to go back in and write an additional contract. Do I have multiple state contracts? I personally do, but that's because I have enough clients in that particular state, and my insurance also covered me in that particular state. So if someone planned on suing me in that state, I'm technically covered. I don't have to do anything extra. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. But yeah, I say if you're not getting enough movement, I'm not going to put the capital down. Will I turn the client away? No, I won't. And I probably shouldn't say that, but no, I won't. Like if it's one or two, especially if it's like somebody I know, that's a friend of a family or whatever, I might take them again because my contract is a little bit. I know that it's a misdemeanor. I think a misdemeanor or a felony to do certain things in California. So I'm very careful. Now I won't take someone in Oklahoma because I think Oklahoma is the one that they cap you on how much you're supposed to charge for credit repair. So those are things that I would say if you're going to say that you want to be licensed in all the areas, find out first what the qualifications are and if there are any caps, because there's certain states that you can only charge X amount of monies because that state deems that that's reasonable to charge for credit repair. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. My pleasure, my pleasure. But yeah, if you see Wild Egg yourself, honey, I don't see a problem. You could get someone to look over the contract and see what's going on. But I did drop the contract system that I use in the chat. And if you guys have an onboarding form, you can create the form where that's the first thing that they sign, and then you can just have a standard contract that's in the dispute panel. So when they get into the dashboard, they're signing just a standard little yes, I acknowledge this is what I'm paying type situation. Because like my contract spells out how much they pay for the total product. It also spells out what they have to get back in the event they choose to leave the program before the 6 months, because I'm in Texas, and Texas is a 6-month state. So every 6 months, if my client stays with me, they have to sign a new contract. Any other questions, guys? Okay, so our back office said the credit repair client will get a copy of the signed agreement when they log into the Safe Client Access. Then the client can send it to, so they said that they can send it to you once the copy has been sent to the client. I just asked when they removed that. So if he answers it while we're still on here, I'll let you guys know. Oh, sorry, correction. You get a copy sent to your email when the client signs the agreement.
I've not gotten any. And let me know if anybody else. Let me know if anybody else on the call has gotten a copy of the agreement when they enroll. But I've never gotten a copy of it in my email.
Never. Okay. Let me let them know.
Never. And someone, and let me know if anybody else on the call actually has, or if they've come across the same situation where they've never gotten anything.
Hold on, because y'all are here. We might as well do it together. Hold on 1 second, friend. Let me push the button. And let me go here. Give me 1 second. Organization. Let me open this contract. Ooh, hold on. Okay, let's see. Well, let me save. Okay, it says save successfully. Let me go in here. Let me do client. Who's this person? Let me change this email. Let me see if I have another client. I'm trying to see if I gave anybody my actual email address. Okay, I found somebody. Okay, cool. So, all right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna check it while you're on here. Save client access. Log in. Give me 1 second. I fill phone number, date of birth, address. I'm trying to see. I don't see here, so I'm gonna tell back office right now I don't see it, and I'm gonna send it to them. Okay, I just told them that I just went through the onboarding process. I signed the dummy contract that I just put in there in this test account, and I don't see it coming back to my site either. So I wanted to know where they put it. So again, when I get that update, I'll pull back up to let you know what's going on. Great questions. Yeah, I mean, we're here to like get into it together. So I was like, why not give it a shot? See what happens. See what happens. All right. Any other questions you guys got for me? Let me see if I missed anything in the chat. Oh. All right, Hunter, you've been really quiet. Do you have any questions? I want to make sure you have space just in case you have any questions.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing? I was wondering, do you have any like templates that we can use when that you use personally?
I do have templates I use personally, but you would have to be in one of my courses in order to get them. So I did drop my course that's coming up on Saturday, on tomorrow and on Saturday in the chat. So if you want to sign up, you have access to it. But I don't have any that I give away for Dispute Panda. I just coach on the Dispute Panda software. Anything additional, you guys will have to come into my workroom.
Okay.
A great question.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
the
I
only
have workrooms all the time. So if you're in the community, y'all, I drop like workrooms. And if you guys have questions and stuff like that, at least once a month, I open a workroom so that you guys can jump on in and ask any questions that you guys have in real time and not kind of just wait for a Dispute Panda night to happen.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Any other questions, guys? No? All righty. Well, I appreciate y'all letting me stalk you today. Look, I appreciate y'all letting me stalk you today. Let me revoke client access now because they don't need that. All right. If you guys have any questions, concerns, comments for me, please let me know. I will be back here next week, Monday, to talk to the standard dispute Panda. I go over Pro as well because it makes sense. But we have the Pro call again next Thursday. If you guys have any questions, concerns, or comments, let me know. It is my pleasure to support. And I will stalk y'all on the flip side. Y'all have a good night, okay? Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Welcome. David, you good? All right, let me stop recording.